Hello friends, welcome back. We are today on lecture number 5. Am I right? We are discussing the amendment batch 3 of CA final. Those who are opening the page, please open this page number 53 of your amendment batch 3 notes of CA final SCMNP. So be there on page 53. Today we are starting with RTP, Revisionary Test Paper of November 19. Now, as you know that in theory question or in case study, I don't have much to discuss. You have to just read out the answer. So I am only discussing the practical question where you need some help, where I have to explain something, right? How the calculations are derived. So question 1 is a case study question based on ethical and non-financial considerations. So I'm leaving it for you, because my past experience says that even if I start reading it now in front of you, you will do the fast forward. So nobody is interested in listening to the theory. So instead of me reading the question and answer, it is better you read the question and answer as per your wish, right? Whenever you get time. So I'm skipping this question number 1. Answer also. Answer is printed. Question number 2 is also case study on outsourcing. So again, I'm leaving it for you. Question 2 on outsourcing. Question 3 is a case scenario. If you remember, in the regular batch I had explained that case scenario is a smaller case study. Generally case scenario will be asked in the exam for 10 marks and case study is a bigger one which will be asked for 20 marks. Now this case scenario is on ethical and non-financial considerations. So I'm skipping it. Yeah, now we have got a practical question. So let us start from question number 4. Established in the year 1999, FF Company is the pioneer in fast food in Southampton, the foreign city. It delivers a truly fresh, affordable, made-to-order sandwiches, burger, and other meals in a friendly and relaxed environment. The popularity of the sandwiches, burger, etc. continued to grow over the decades, but one thing remained the same, and that was its core values and principles. And what are these? Always provide exceptional service to valued guests, provide highest quality menu items at a price everyone can afford and enjoy, and keep operating costs low, and ensure to have great system in place and never stop improving. It provides a comfortable place for people to unwind over interesting conversations. From the beginning, as it continues to grow, it is guided by passion for delighting customers by serving fresh, delicious food right in front of customer. The performance report of burger segment for financial year 2018-19 was presented at the management committee meeting as follows. Now check this performance report, particulars: budget, actual and variance. Budget, actual and variance. Please remember this variance is difference between budget and actual here. But most of the time we calculate it as standard minus actual. What they have given the variance is budget minus actual. Now sales oblique production in number of burgers, this is in quantity, 2 lakh, 1,65,000. So 35,000 burgers are sold less, therefore shown in the bracket. That is, bracket means adverse. Sales in pounds, right? It's an important question, imported question, so the figures are in pounds, doesn't matter. Sales is in pounds, rupees 10,50,000 is budgeted sales, 8,46,450 is actual sales. Actual sales is lower, so this is your adverse variance. I am repeating, this is budgeted sales minus actual sales. Okay. Less variable cost. Variable cost in pounds is 6,33,000 and 5,37,075. As the actual cost is lower, they have written positive, means favorable. But this is of no use because this is budgeted variable cost minus actual variable cost they are comparing. We will have to compare standard cost for actual output minus actual cost. Please remember. Okay. Let's fixed cost is also budgeted minus actual. Now you will notice budgeted fixed cost 1,57,500 and actual fixed cost is higher. So the actual fixed cost is higher, the variance is adverse. Now if you remember, in fixed cost, the expenditure variance, fixed cost expenditure variance is budgeted overheads minus actual overheads. So this is fixed overhead expenditure variance. And profit is given, budgeted profit 2,59,500 and actual profit is lower, 1,44,375. Actual profit is lower than budgeted profit, therefore adverse. This is the difference between budgeted profit and actual profit of burger segment. The management accountant of FF believed that the size of fast food market deriving the budgeted number of burgers to be sold is overestimated. Means you have overestimated the market size of burger. He has computed the value of sales volume contribution planning variance. Okay, sales volume contribution planning variance to be 26,062.50 adverse. This is your contribution volume planning variance. We'll come back to it. Now further, the report also included customers' feedback and the majority of comments were regarding delay in service time. One feedback was as follows. One of the feedback of customer for delay in service time. I ordered 2 burgers at 2:10 p.m. After half an hour, that is 30 minutes of waiting, I called the waiter and asked him what happened. He told me that he will check with kitchen. I got the order after 45 minutes of waiting. So waiting time is too high. This cafe is not good in delivery time. So a customer had to wait for 45 minutes after giving the order. The budgeted data shown in the table, in the above table, is based on the assumption that total market size would be 4 lakh units. And there are questions. This is from RTP, so they have not given the marks below. So required is prepare a reconciliation statement of budgeted profit to actual profit. So standard costing question, reconciliation statement of budgeted profit to actual profit through marginal costing approach in as much details as possible. So basically, it's a question of reconciliation of budgeted profit with actual profit, but using marginal costing approach. Now, if you remember, in regular batch, we have discussed there are 2 approaches, absorption costing approach and marginal costing approach. So this question we have to solve using marginal costing approach. Second question is explain the implication of the reconciliation statement. So theory. And third is management is worried about customers' feedback, advise measurement to improve delivery service times. So you have to give them certain suggestions to improve their servicing time. Okay, and then there is an answer. So basically we have to target on the first part of the question where we have to calculate the relevant variances, and with the help of those variances we'll have to reconcile the budgeted profit with actual profit. Let's go through the question again. You have to reconcile basically these 2 profits. Budgeted profit with actual profit. This is what you have to reconcile through variances using marginal costing approach. Just have one more look at the question. I think this story is of no use. Just skip it. This entire story given is just a background to make a story out of it. Check the data mainly. Check the data and below, table and below. So don't keep reading the first and second paragraph. That is not of much use. Not of much use, at least for first part of the question. Then might be of some use to answer the second and third part, theory part. Now, as I have told you, we have to reconcile these 2 profits, budgeted and actual profit. And if you read this paragraph carefully, see, they are talking about planning variance, and it is contribution volume profit variance. It is sales volume contribution. Basically, it is contribution volume variance, but it's a planning variance. Planning variance is uncontrollable variance. Means this variance is a market size variance. This variance is market size variance. Because this has happened due to overestimation of market size. You estimated the market size very high, but then actual size was not so much. So one variance is available to you. You have to understand from the wordings what it is. It is contribution variance, contribution volume variance, but of market size. So we'll have to calculate the remaining one, that is market share variance. Okay, and so only this much we will concentrate. That is first part of the question. Now I'll take you to some other page, just a minute, to explain what we have to do actually. Now check this blank page. Please remember, when we calculate the difference between budgeted profit and actual profit, this is our total profit variance. Okay. We have to mainly calculate three variances. If you remember the master chart, that is sales price variance, cost price variances and its parts, and profit volume variance. This is what we have to calculate for reconciliation between budgeted profit and actual profit. We have solved such questions in the regular batch. So we'll calculate this variance, sales price. In cost price, if you remember, we used to divide it in material cost, labor cost, variable overheads and fixed overheads. Now in this question, if you keep the question in front of you, they have just given variable and fixed cost, only two types of cost. So variable cost will consist of direct material, direct labor and variable overheads. Three costs together is variable cost, and fixed cost, that is fixed overheads. So cost price variance will be able to divide only in two parts, that is variable cost variance and fixed cost variance. Okay, and profit volume. Now as the question is saying that we have to use marginal costing approach, in marginal costing, instead of profit volume, we will get contribution volume variance. So we'll have to calculate the fluctuation in contribution, and change in contribution will have impact on change in profit. So in marginal costing approach, we will calculate contribution volume variance, and this variance from the data, it seems that it has to be divided in two parts, that is market size and market share variance. Now out of which this market size variance is already given to us in the question itself. So we don't have to calculate that. Then what we have to calculate? Now one is sales price variance we have to calculate. Another we will calculate as variable cost variance. But while calculating variable cost variance, we have to calculate standard variable cost for actual output minus actual cost. Now for fixed cost, as we are using marginal costing approach, we need fixed cost or fixed overhead variance as only expenditure variance, that is budgeted overheads minus actual overheads, or budgeted cost minus actual cost. That is already available in the question itself. That is the third variance which is already there under marginal costing approach, please remember. And then one more variance we'll have to calculate, that is market share, because this is given to us. So if we calculate these variances and we put it in the reconciliation statement, it will get reconciled. Now that is how. Now we'll go ahead with the printed solution to understand how these variances can be calculated. So I am taking you back to the question, my dear friends. Okay. Now let's go to the printed solution. If you have understood the basics. See, this is the answer basically, but it is based on working. Statement of reconciliation of budgeted versus actual profit, refer working notes. Actually after working only you will understand this, but I will just go take you through this answer. Budgeted profit, it is given in the question which I have copied, 2,59,500. Sales price variance, we will see in working 1 how we got it. It is coming adverse, so adverse, therefore I have deducted sales price. Then this contribution volume variance, which institute has called as sales volume contribution variance, will get divided in two parts. One is planning variance. Planning variance is market size, and operational variance is market share. This was given to us in the question, 26,062.5 adverse. This operational variance means market share variance we will calculate. Market size is already given. This we will see in working 2, which calculation says that it will be adverse, so to be deducted. Then we'll have to calculate variable cost variance, which we will see in working 3. That is variable cost variance, standard cost minus actual cost. That is also seems to be adverse. And fixed cost, that is expenditure variance, fixed overhead expenditure variance, which is working number 4, but it is available in the question itself, 7,500 adverse. There are all adverse variances. So from budgeted profit, if you deduct this, you will get the actual profit, and actual profit will tally with the profit given in the question itself. So this is how the reconciliation is, but this statement is the final answer. We have to see working 1, 2, 3 and 4 to get the answers basically, and then you have to put up these answers in the reconciliation statement. So let's go to the workings to understand it. Now some basic workings first of all, that is key calculations. Budgeted market share. Now if you check the question, the budgeted units which we are supposed to sell is 2 lakh. However, in the paragraph below it was said that the total market size was planned to be, right? If you check the paragraph below, last line above required, it is 4 lakh. Total budgeted market size. Should I show it to you here? It's here. This, the budgeted data shows that the total market size would be 4 lakh. Okay, and our budgeted quantity here is 2 lakh. Now I'm taking you back. I'll keep doing this reverse forward. It means our budgeted market share was 50%. We had planned to have 50% share, that out of 4 lakh we will be able to sell 2 lakh burgers. Now budgeted contribution will call, because here we will need budgeted contribution per unit. Budgeted contribution per unit is just like your standard profit per unit or standard contribution per unit, right? So it is budgeted contribution will be budgeted sales minus budgeted variable cost. This is total budgeted contribution. This total budgeted contribution is divided by budgeted quantity 2 lakh units which we had planned to sell, and you will get contribution per unit as pound 2.085 per unit. This you can treat it as standard contribution per unit. As a multiplier we will be using it for contribution volume variance. Now sales volume contribution planning variance, this is the name. Name is very big, sales volume contribution planning variance. Basically it is market size variance, and we'll try to calculate the impact on contribution, right, due to change in market size. Really speaking, this answer was, market size variance was given to you, so we will only be cross tallying it. We want to calculate market share variance, but let us see it. Using the answer given, we will get some interesting data by doing the reverse calculation. Check. Though market size variance itself is available. How market size variance will be calculated? In the smaller bracket, it is budgeted market size minus actual market size multiplied by budgeted market share, which was 50%, into budgeted contribution per unit, means standard contribution per unit. And this answer was given to you in the question, adverse 26,062.5 adverse is equal to, we calculated just now budgeted contribution, that is standard contribution per unit. Budgeted market share 50% we calculated above. Budgeted market size 4 lakh was given to you in the question, but actual market size is missing. So we'll calculate actual market size. This is one approach. There is one easier approach also, don't worry, which we'll see later. There are two ways in which we can get the market share variance, and market size variance is already given, that is planning variance is already given. Now when this variance is adverse, please remember, this variance will be adverse if actual market size is lower than budgeted market size. If market size goes down, the variance will be lower. So this, if we treat it as A minus B and B is lower, then the mathematical answer will be positive. Mathematical answer will be positive if actual market size is lower than budgeted market size. So I am converting this adverse variance into positive sign. This divided by this 2.085 put to the left side, so divided by 2.085 is equal to remaining equation. Now it's just an equation solving now. So if you solve the equation, this is another step. 12,500 is equal to 50% of 4 lakh minus actual market size. Then 12,500 divided by 50%, it will become 25,000 is equal to 4 lakh minus actual market size. And shift the actual market size to the left side, and right hand side will be 4 lakh units minus 25,000. So 3,75,000 units will become your actual market size. Actual market size was lower, 3,75,000, and budgeted size was 4 lakh. So as actual size was lower, you had an adverse variance. Now we'll get actual market share from here. Actual market share. Now check your question. Your actual quantity sold is 1,65,000 units. Check the question. I am not taking you on the back screen. You keep the printed notes in front of you. 1,65,000 is actual quantity sold out of actual market size 3,75,000, which we calculated just now. So actual quantity sold out of actual market size is your actual share. Actual share is 44%, whereas you had planned for how much market share? 50%. It is here, and actual market share is 44%. So if you check this, your market share has also gone down. So your market share variance will be adverse, and market share variance is called operational variance, please remember, and market size variance is called as planning variance. Now, so this is some data which will be useful for calculation of market share variance. Should we go to market share variance first and then we'll come back? Or okay, some more data there. I'll discuss this market share variance. That is contribution, another name will be contribution volume operational variance, or sales volume contribution operational variance, whatever name you give, right? So it is budgeted contribution per unit into, in the bigger bracket, actual market size, and in the smaller bracket the main difference is between budgeted market share minus actual market share. Budgeted market share minus actual market share. So this was the contribution which we had calculated. Budgeted contribution means standard contribution. Budgeted market share was 50%, actual share is 44%, and multiplier is actual market size 3,75,000. Now you will see there is a reduction in market share, and therefore the variance will be adverse. This is the way it can be calculated. Now there is one more way. If you remember, our contribution volume variance is divided in two parts, market size and market share. So what we can do, we can calculate contribution volume variance total, which is simple to calculate. Market size variance is already given in the question, so we'll get market share variance as balancing figure. So there is one more approach I am giving you. You can calculate using any approach in the exam. So I'll first calculate total contribution volume variance. Total contribution volume variance. That is budgeted contribution per unit into, in the bracket, budgeted quantity which we wanted to sell and actual quantity which we have sold. It is something similar to your profit volume variance. Instead of profit volume, we are calling it as contribution volume because we are using marginal costing approach. So this is your contribution per unit, standard contribution or budgeted contribution per unit. This 2 lakh is budgeted quantity, 1,65,000 is actual quantity. Actual quantity sold is lower, 35,000 units you have sold lower, so it will be adverse, 35,000 into pound 2.085. So this is total adverse variance, that is contribution volume variance. So how we'll get market share variance now? Market share means operational variance. It is total volume variance minus market size variance. So out of this much adverse, if you remove this answer which is available in the question, you will get the remaining 46,912.5. This will tally with this. It's a simpler approach. From total variance deduct the market size, means planning variance you deduct, you will get operational variance. This was simpler to calculate. Okay. Now actually which variances we had seen, what we need to calculate, just check again on this page. Okay. Check what we had discussed. Now we have calculated this one, market share. Now you have to calculate sales price variance also. This we have to calculate. One is variable cost variance, and fixed cost variance is already given to you, that is expenditure variance, budgeted overheads minus actual overheads. So really speaking, two more variances you have to calculate because fixed cost variance is available in the question. So with that, you put it in the statement and you will get the reconciliation statement of profit. So question is not that difficult, but it is difficult to interpret. I will take you back. We'll get the sales price first of all. Now standard sales price per unit. Standard sales price and budgeted sales price per unit is one and the same. This is budgeted sale value given in the question in the budget column, you can check, divided by budgeted quantity. You will get budgeted selling price, that is standard selling price. Then actual sales price per unit we will calculate, that is actual sale value given in the question in actual column, divided by actual sales quantity, divided by actual sales quantity. You will get actual selling price. Now you will notice actual selling price is lower than standard selling price. So difference will be adverse variance. Okay. Now some more data is calculated for variable cost. So check budgeted variable cost given in the question divided by budgeted quantity. So you will get standard variable cost per unit, that is standard cost per unit. And check actual variable cost. Actual variable cost given in the question divided by actual quantity, you will get actual variable cost per unit. These two figures we will use for calculation of variable cost variance. Right now if you check, your standard variable cost is 3.165, whereas actual variable cost is higher. It is 3.255. So as actual variable cost per unit is higher, the variable cost variance will also be adverse, and sales price variance actual is lower, therefore this will also be adverse. So check here, sales price variance, actual quantity sold, multiplier, standard selling price minus actual selling price. Actual quantity sold 1,65,000. Okay, these figures got interchanged. Please remember, standard selling price is this and actual selling price is this. By mistake it got interchanged. So from standard selling price 5.25, if you deduct the actual selling price is lower, therefore the variance is adverse. So this 19,800 adverse. Figures got shifted, the place got shifted, you have to put it at the right place. This is your sales price variance. And for variable cost variance will be easy. It is standard variable cost for actual output minus actual variable cost, right? This can be calculated as, or actual output common multiplier into, in the bracket, standard variable cost per unit minus actual variable cost per unit. This way also you can do, or directly you can calculate standard cost for actual output minus actual cost. That is, whatever way you do it, the answer will remain the same. So 1,65,000 units actually produced. This was standard variable cost per unit. Actual variable cost is higher, so difference into this is adverse. This I can show you directly from the question also. 14,850 adverse. Okay, I'll just go back. I'll just take you back to the question. Just see from here itself you can observe where is the data, right here. Check this. See, I have just written it in the formula pattern. Otherwise, this variable cost is for 2 lakh units. If 6,33,000 is the variable cost of 2 lakh units, then what should be the cost for 1,65,000 units? If 6,33,000 is the variable cost of 2 lakh units, then what should be the variable cost for 1,65,000 units? That is called standard cost of actual output. And then you will compare that standard cost with actual output with actual cost, and you will get the variable cost variance. It is the same logic. You can do it in any number of ways. The calculation, once you have understood the logic, standard variable cost for actual output minus actual variable cost is always for actual output. I have just done it in a formula pattern, therefore it seems little lengthy. So this is how the same answer you will get. And fixed cost variance, actually you have to calculate expenditure variance for marginal costing purpose. So it is budgeted fixed cost minus actual fixed cost. This answer was also available in the table. In the table they have given you the variance, that is 7,500 adverse. And we have already seen all these answers. If you put in this reconciliation statement, this one, you can reconcile the profit. Is that okay? Now second and third part of the question is little theoretical, so that you can read on your own. So I'm just skipping it. I'm skipping it because I have passed, please remember. But you have to read it from exam point of view. As you know, the theory content is higher in the CA final syllabus for SCM and P. I can't help, right? Though it's a little boring, people don't love to read or listen to the theory. Therefore, I'm skipping it because my past experience says that students don't love to listen to the theory. But at the same time, it is in your interest that at least you should go through it, so that, because you have to write it in the exam, so you should be able to write something sensibly. So this was practical part of the question. This is theoretical part of the question. Implication you can read, and the third part, measure to improve the fast food delivery service time, that I am leaving to you. Now we'll go to question 5, practical question on transfer pricing. So come to the proper page. Transfer pricing question, that is question number 5. Page 62. A manufacturer has two divisions, namely division A and division B. Division B produces components that are used by both division A as well as external customers. Means division B is manufacturing a component which will be used by A also and by external customers also. Division A gets its entire requirement of components from division B. So division B will transfer to division A. Division B is a transferor division. Division A is a receiving division or transferee division, and A will get entire requirement from division B. Now the annual production capacity of division B is 1 lakh units. See, the moment this word comes capacity, it means there is a restriction. You cannot produce more. Like suppose if you have a capacity to study for 12 hours out of 24 hours. That is your maximum capacity that you can study with concentration. So that is upper limit. Means you can study maximum for 12 hours in a day and less, but not more. So capacity word always means restriction, right? Means key factor. You have to keep that in mind. So annual production capacity of division B is 1 lakh units. The division operates at full capacity. Division B is operating at full capacity with no inventory at the beginning or end of the year, no opening stock, no closing stock, and you are producing 1 lakh units. As there is no opening stock and no closing stock left, so all 1 lakh units produced by you are sold, it means, because nothing is left, no closing stock is left, and you are working at full capacity. Now it sells its components to external customers at rupees 4,000 per unit. Division B sells the components at 4,000 per unit to external customer, and variable cost of production for the component is rupees 2750. Variable cost of production is 2750. 4,000 minus 2750, you will get contribution per component. Now internally it transfers its components to division A, factoring any opportunity cost in the form of lost sales. Means due to internal transfer, if you are losing the opportunity to earn contribution on external sales, then that opportunity cost you will recover from division A. It means division A's transfer price factors this opportunity cost. Factors this opportunity cost means includes the opportunity cost, if any, right? Now total sales of division B were 36 crores. Total sales. Total sales will mean internal as well as external sales. Okay, further they have given, of which sales to external customer was 20 crores. Out of total sales 36 crores, 20 crore was the sale to external customer. It means balance sale is to internal division A. So 36 minus 20, 16 crores is the sales to division A. Okay, we go ahead. As per company's policy, demand from division A has a priority over external customers. It means you will first satisfy the demand of division A, then you will satisfy the demand of external customer. Now this year there was an additional demand from external customers for 18,000 components. Additional demand. However, since division B operated at full capacity, this demand was not catered to. Means you could not cater to the external demand. So there was additional demand of 18,000 components. But as your capacity got full and you have to first satisfy the demand of division A, you could not fulfill the order. You could not cater to the demand of external customer to the extent of 18,000 components. So that is the opportunity which you have lost to sell in the external market because of capacity restriction also, and because you have to first transfer to division A. I hope I have interpreted the question for you. Now required. First part of the question is analyze the sales. Analyze the sales in terms of rupees means values and units means quantity. Analyze the sales in terms of rupees and units made by division B to both external and internal customers. Okay, read the question again. Analyze the sales in terms of rupees as well as in units, value as well as volume. Sales made by B to internal as well as external customer. Okay. Now we had already done some analysis, if you remember. Out of total sales of 36 crores, the sale to external customer is 20 crores and internal customer is 16 crores in value. We'll have to calculate the quantity also, right? We'll have to calculate quantity and do some analysis. Let us check the second question also. Recommend the transfer price range that would promote goal congruence. Right? Goal congruence is very common in transfer pricing. That is attainment of the organization objectives and not only divisional objectives. Maximization of overall profit is always important. So recommend the transfer pricing range that would promote goal congruence between division A and B. So we'll have to give that range of transfer price, which I think is simple, and discuss the effect of changes in external demand on the transfer price for the company, assuming the current policy continues. Okay, the effect of change in the external demand, what impact the external demand will have on transfer price. Okay, if the current policy continues. Current policy is nothing but You have to first fulfill the demand of division A and then sell it in the external market. So I don't think second and third question is of much importance. We'll first do the analysis. In analysis, you will get a lot of understanding of sales. Now check this. Okay, I have printed a detailed answer for you. Okay, so I'll go through. I'll just read it out and explain if required. Very much detailed answer is given. Actually, you can also read and understand. Sales analysis of division B. Total annual capacity and actual production of division B is 1 lakh units of components. Zero inventory implies that sales for the year was also 1 lakh units of components. Sales to the external customer was 20 crores. This 20 crore was at 4,000 per unit. So what we can do, 20 crore on the calculator, you have to take correct zeros, right? For 20 crores and divided by 4,000 if you do, you will get the number of units sold to external customer. So if you correctly do the calculation of 20 crores divided by 4,000, for crores you'll have to add 7 zeros on 20. 7 zeros on 20 and divided by 4,000, you will get 50,000 units. So this 50,000 units is external quantity sold, that is 20 crores divided by 4,000 units. So external customers you are getting 50,000 units. It also means remaining 50,000 units out of total capacity of 1 lakh, if you are selling to external customer 50,000 units, remaining 50,000 units you will be selling to division A. So therefore internal sale can be derived as remaining 50,000 now. Remaining 50,000 units for the year, that is annual sales 1 lakh units less external sales. It's very simple now. For the year, value of sales made to division A. Value of sales made to division A. To division A, the balancing figure of sales was 16 crores. That is 36 crores minus 20 crores external sales. Now the internal transfer price will be. Now how will you get internal transfer price? 16 crores internal sales divided by 50,000 units internally transferred, because remaining 50,000 are transferred internally. So if you do that, you will get the average selling price as 3,200 per unit to division A. From here, what you have to understand, in the external market you are selling that component for 4,000 per unit and internally you are selling it at on an average price of 3,200 per unit. Now had there been no extra demand, opportunity cost for division B would be null. It means suppose you didn't have that extra 18,000 demand in the external market, the opportunity cost would have been 0 because you are not losing any opportunity. But in the given question, you have the extra 18,000 demand which you could not satisfy. So there will be an opportunity cost, right, in this question. Therefore, minimum transfer price that would only be variable cost 2750 per unit of component. This will be variable cost if there is no opportunity loss. Then variable cost itself will be transfer price. However, as in the given problem, there was an excess demand for 18,000 units of components from external customers that could not be met since division B had to give the priority to internal demand. Had these sales been made, division B would have earned how much contribution? 1250 per unit from external sales. That is 4,000 selling price minus 2750 variable cost. So your total opportunity cost will be 1250 contribution lost. The loss contribution is 1250 per unit on 18,000 units. So 18,000 units into 1250 is the opportunity loss is 2.25 crores contribution you have lost. Now check the breakup of internal sales. For internal sales, internal quantity sold was 50,000 units. Out of 50,000 units on 18,000 units, there is an opportunity cost because you could not satisfy the external demand. And on remaining 32,000 units, there won't be any opportunity cost. There won't be any opportunity cost for 32,000 because that is within your capacity, but 18,000 you have lost the external sales. So for 32,000 units of components transferred, these will be transferred at a variable cost of 2750 because there is no opportunity loss. So this amounts to 2750 into 32,000 will be 8.8 crores because there is no opportunity cost. And for 18,000 units, the components will be transferred factoring the opportunity cost. So it will be transferred at variable cost plus opportunity cost, that is contribution lost. So if you take variable cost again plus contribution loss 1250, it will again become 4,000 rupees per unit. So remaining 8,000 units will be transferred at the rate of 4,000 rupees. So 18,000 units into 4,000 if you do, you will get 7.2 crores. So 7.2 crores is at a transfer price of 4,000 and 8.8 crores will be transferred at a transfer price of variable cost, that is 2750. If you add the two together, you'll get 16 crores is the internal sales transfer. So we are giving the breakup of internal sales 16 crores in two parts. On 32,000 the transfer price will be different, and on 18,000 the transfer price will be different. And the summary is written here. External sales are 50,000 units amounting to 20 crores. They had asked you the value and quantity, so all this summary is made. And internal sales are also 50,000 units amounting to 16 crores annual sale value. Transfer price of 32,000 units is at a variable cost of 2750 per unit, while for 18,000 units on which you have lost the opportunity, the transfer price is 4,000. From this you can answer the remaining questions also, my dear friend. That is, the transfer price range can be calculated now, and you can discuss the changes in the external demand. Transfer price range, you have to calculate minimum and maximum, right? Range. Minimum transfer price at which division B will be ready to sell to division A, and maximum what division A can offer. And effect of changes. If the external demand keeps on increasing beyond 1 lakh units, there will be more and more opportunity cost. Like in this question, it was 18,000 units. So if there is an extra demand, more and more demand in the external market, the opportunity loss will keep on increasing, opportunity cost will keep on increasing, and the transfer price will also keep on increasing. I am discussing third part of the question. And if the total demand can be satisfied within 1 lakh units capacity, then you can transfer internally at a variable cost itself. There will not be any opportunity loss. On that there is a discussion. So more the external demand going beyond total capacity of 1 lakh units, more will be the transfer price. So these answers must be written now. I won't read it. It's all here. Transfer price range is calculated and impact of external demand on transfer price. I'll take you to the next question. Question number 6. I am discussing only important parts. The question is on cost of quality. If you remember, cost of quality is divided in 4 parts. If you remember, right? Prevention cost, appraisal cost, internal failure cost, and external failure cost. So it is on that. H Automobile Group is among top 20 business houses in India. It has been founded in the year 1930 at the height of India's movement for independence from British. The group has an illustrious history. So all this is story, my dear friends. I don't know why institute frames the story. It is of no use for solving the question. H footprint stretches over a wide range of industries spanning automobiles, that is two-wheeler manufacturer and three-wheeler manufacturers. Two-wheeler manufacturing and three-wheeler manufacturing. H headquarters is located at Hyderabad. Bike production is one segment of H Limited, and management of H Limited want to analyze the following annual information. So this information is useful. That paragraph is of not much use. Check the cost data. Cost data is customer complaint center cost, 35 rupees per hour. Per hour, please remember. Equipment testing cost is 18 rupees per hour. It is a cost data. Means it will be in rupees naturally. Warranty repair cost is 1,560 per bike. Warranty repair. Manufacturing rework cost. If you have to do the rework, means in case of defective production, you have to do the rework. That is 228 per bike. Now volume and activity data. This is the volume data in terms of activity. Bike requiring manufacturing rework, 3,200 bikes. You are doing the analysis for the month of April. It's given here. Actual information for April for 1 month. So in that month, the rework has to be done on 3,200 bikes. Bike requiring warranty repair. Warranty repair you have to do for 2,600 bikes. Production line equipment testing time is 1,600 hours. And customer complaints center time. How much time the customer complaints center has spent is 2,000 hours. Now additional information is, due to quality issues in the month, the bike production line experienced unproductive downtime. Downtime is idle time. due to some quality issues, your department, production department has experienced the idle time which cost rupees 7,70,000. There were some problems, quality problems, and therefore your production department has faced a downtime or idle time of worth rupees 7,70,000. Now H carried out a quality review of its existing suppliers, to enhance the quality level during the month at a cost of rupees 1,25,000. So I've done some quality review of your suppliers. By doing this review, what you'll do, you'll select the best suppliers only who can supply you best quality input at right time. Now required, prepare a statement showing total quality cost, which is a simple one. You have to just list out the total quality cost and advise 2 measures to reduce the non-conformance cost. Non-conformance means failure cost. See, non-conformance cost is internal and external failure cost. So you have to reduce this, and conformance costs are generally preventive cost and appraisal cost. So if you increase the prevention and appraisal cost, you can decrease the failure cost. So that is a theory answer. You have to just advise any 2 measures which you think right to reduce the failure cost, that is non-conforming cost. We will target or we will discuss this first part of the question. Prepare a statement showing total quality cost. I think I can discuss right now here itself. I think it's a simple question. First of all, check customer complaints. When the customer will give you the complaint, after you deliver the goods, then customer will complain. So this will be your external failure cost. But it is per hour into how much time you have spent on customer complaints. This per hour rupees 35 into 2000 hours spent by your customer complaint department. This will be external failure cost. Equipment testing. Testing is appraisal. Testing inspection cost is appraisal cost. So this will be appraisal cost. 18 per hour into testing time is here. 18 per hour into 1600 hours will be that appraisal cost. Warranty repair. When we use the word warranty, see, when we sell the goods, we give warranty to the customer. Let us say you have given 2 years warranty, and if within 2 years if something goes wrong, then you have to repair it free of cost. So warranty cost you incur after selling the goods to the customer. So this is also external failure cost. External failure. 1560 is the cost per bike, and your warranty repair here is for 2600 bikes. So this 1560 bikes into 2600 bikes will be the external failure cost of warranty repairs. Manufacturing rework. In manufacturing process, if you find defective item, then to rectify the defect you have to do the work again. That is called rework cost. So it is internal failure cost. Rework is always internal failure cost. 228 per bike into rework you have done on 3200 bikes. So this into this you will get the manufacturing rework cost for internal failure. So these 4 costs can be just calculated by correlating the rate into number of times that activity is done. Okay, and you will group it properly. And then this unproductive downtime due to some issues in production, quality issues, this will be internal failure cost. Internal failure cost. It is internal to you. Due to some quality problem, there is idle time. And review of existing suppliers. You are just reviewing the supplier. You are not doing any checking, but you are trying to identify good suppliers. That will reduce the quality issues while purchasing the material. So it will be a prevention cost. So this 1,25,000 will be a prevention cost, right? Which will prevent the bad quality input. And all this must be written here. Check this. This statement of total quality cost. You have to just prepare the statement. We have to group it in 4 parts. Prevention cost, the supplier review which we discussed. In appraisal cost, it was the equipment testing cost, hours into number of rate per hour into number of hours. Internal failure cost is unproductive downtime, this one, and manufacturing rework. And external failure cost is customer complaints and warranty repairs. And this is your total quality cost. And the next question says that you have to reduce these 2 non-conformance cost. These 2 you have to reduce. So you have to spend more money on prevention and appraisal to reduce this. So that theory answer must also be written here. So this is the theory answer. How you can reduce the non-conformance cost. Okay. I think friends will stop here for the day. Right. So remaining discussion, that is next lecture, lecture number 6 will start from here. Right. From question number 7. Okay friends. Bye bye. I'll stop here. Right? As I'm telling you daily, if my discussion is useful to you in understanding, very good. Watch these lectures. If they are of no use to you, stop watching the lectures. Study on your own. Okay. Bye.